Let's dive into a question. This one's kind of fun. Tim asked this question: would you have hired any of Jesus's disciples? Why or why not? Great question. Would you have hired any of Jesus's disciples? My answer is, knowing what I know now, I would have hired 11 of them. I would have clearly passed on Judas. If you ever make a bad hire, and I sometimes have, I always like to tell myself, even Jesus had a Judas. I like this question, Tim, because I think we can actually learn a lot from those that Jesus chose and those that he didn't choose to be on his team. You don't have to be a Christian to learn from his selection process. And so I want to talk about it today, kind of from a creative viewpoint. Some thoughts about who Jesus hired. Number one, Jesus chose people that others overlooked. He chose people that others overlooked. In fact, you need to remember that you'll often find great and talented people that others overlook. If you're not just looking at what everyone else is looking at, you can see things in people, qualities that are often hidden or not quite as obvious. You can find greatness in people that others overlook. Number two, Jesus passed on those trained by the traditional system. Think about this. When he recruited his disciples, he didn't invite a single scribe, a Sadducee, a Pharisee, no one from the organized religious tradition to be a part of his inner circle of 12. This implies, and I can't totally know his motives, but it implies that perhaps he believed that he could train them better than the traditional path. This is not always the case. In your organizations, sometimes you're going to need technically and traditionally trained people, but sometimes you might want to go a non-traditional path. For example, I'm a pastor who leads an organization with over 600 paid employees, currently in 29 different locations in 9 different states. Even if you don't know a lot about churches, you would probably say that's not a traditional church model. That's not like most churches in the community. It's a non-traditional model. So in our system, honestly, it's rare that a traditionally trained pastor thrives in our model. It's not that traditionally training pastors is bad or wrong, it's just traditional. For example, I have a degree called a Master's of Divinity. That's a 3-year degree that specializes in training pastors. I am not against higher education. I'm completely for higher education. But in our context, to be real honest, seminary grads have struggled more than those who are not seminary grads. And in our context, it's oftentimes those who are spiritually minded business leaders end up doing better transitioning onto our staff than those who have been traditionally trained. This is not true for all churches, it's simply true for us. If you're leading something that's new, something's different, something creative, something innovative, you might be wise to look in non-traditional places to find talent. Back to Jesus and his team. While many people are shocked by his choices, he obviously saw qualities that he liked that others undervalued. When you think about it, the disciples, they often get a bad rap. They're often criticized, but these guys were not idiots. Andrew, Peter, James, and John, they were business owners. They ran a fishing business, and their business experience provided tremendous value that could help move the mission forward. Matthew was a tax collector. That was not a popular job, but my goodness gracious, this guy got valuable experience working with people, dealing with brutal taskmasters above him, and then getting money out of people as a tax collector. It was valuable business experience. Simon was known as Simon the Zealot. He was either a politician or a revolutionary. This guy had skills from that could be valuable. And then James and John were called sons of thunder. Sons of thunder. I'm not sure why nobody is, but that's just cool, okay? I just have a feeling these guys could bring the heat if they had to bring the heat. Jesus saw qualities in these leaders that other people undervalued. He chose those others overlooked. He passed on those trained by the traditional system. Number 3, he had a very intentional onboarding and training process. I know theologians wouldn't call it that, but from a leadership perspective, that's what I would say. For 3 years, he intentionally and consistently invested in his team. He was involved in the details of their lives. What did he do? He would teach them. He would show them how he would do it. He would give them feedback. He would empower them. It was a very intentional onboarding and training process. Number 4, he delegated full authority for them to carry on his vision and mission. That's what he did. After 3 years of training, he essentially said, now, here's your assignment. Go into all the world, make disciples, baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Here's what Jesus did. He said, here's what I want you to do. Here's where I want you to do it. But Jesus did not tell them how they were to do it. He empowered them to fulfill his mission. That's why, Tim, I think it's a great question. What can we learn about how Jesus recruited people? Thank you for your question.